fine. I'm down. I can't see. Need to go.
Welcome everyone to the social van. Feeling Kyle sick of the bullshit. So here they are, reppin' C+, ready to turn every podcast to dust. So sit down and shut the fuck up, cause when in doubt, fuck your couch. Welcome everybody to the social vent. Yeah!
The way he hesitated with the broads.
Y'all have to be here to see that, but he might keep it in for the editing. We'll see.
I might.
Fucker. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Big Daddy coming at you with this fucker here.
KB Section Ninja. I like how it's only your name up there.
Oh, would you like me to switch it?
No, it's fine.
Actually,
It's
no.
fine.
We got to put this up right here.
We got banners and all that, right?
Yes, we do.
What up, y'all? Welcome to the Social Vent Podcast. We are doing something really different today. Really, really different. We didn't send each other questions this week. It was an idea that we came up with about sharing our stories. And didn't I give you a paper? Oh yeah, here we go. These are stories that I've had in my head for years. Big Daddy's heard about these stories in my head for years. And I finally picked one to start writing.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sent me 4 chapters. I read some of it. And I'll say this. Just work on it.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Just write the whole fucking thing down.
It's over 1,600 words so far. I reread it. It's a little bland.
As long as you get it down.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is like I bought myself a new notebook and I did a tease about it. I put it up there on our Instagram. It's a story called The Star Law, and we'll get into that. But what we're doing today is we're picking 2 stories from each of our brains and talking about what these stories are from us, because this I wrote down. I'll just show it. You'll see these names. And if you recognize Ghost Pizza, something I've talked about, these are other stories. These are stories that are like in my head, complete. I know where they're going to go. I know where, you know what I mean?
They do it.
But this man is the one that's like, if you know where, write it.
Just write. Don't edit. Don't do nothing. Like I told him, I'm gonna tell y'all the same thing. Like I learned about writing stories. If you have to have music in the background, do it, but not blasting where you get distracted and want to get up and dance and sing. No, just in the background. Low noise.
I gotta have no noise.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta be in my head. Like that's how I write. Like that's how I wrote those 4 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Like and then the story was just like playing in my head. I'm like, because originally I had an audio book on, because I'm re-going through the Dark Tower series,
mm-hmm.
and I've been listening. I'm almost done with the Gunslinger, but I was like, oh, and I let it play, and I was like typing, I was like, and then I just zoned out. And I found out that's the way I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bam, and I was just like,
That's good. That's good. Stephen King does the same thing. Who else does the same thing?
Which is weird too, because that's who I was listening to.
Walter Mosley, when he writes out when his crime novels, absolute silence. He'll sit there at the table with his notebook, just long form.
And that's what I'm gonna do too. I bought a new notebook. I bought one of those 5-layered, big notebooks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Bought me some new pens, and they're sitting in the car, and they're going to be with me wherever I go. When I think about the story, I'm going to write the outline of point A to point B, where I want to go.
Good.
So
good.
And my goal is with the story, The Star Law, I want this into a book form. And I know this certain person published some books of his own, which you can buy. Yeah.
Poetry books, folks. Hey, you got to start somewhere. If you want to go for the gusto to write the whole book as your first project, then do it. There's no rules against writing. Honestly, there isn't. There's no rules. It's the only rules that you have is correct form, chapters and the stupid and all this other shit, Mm-hmm.
But before we get going, Shudder.
That right there, folks. Shudder.com.
Use special promo code
CPLUS. This one right here.
Yep, and you can get 30 free days on us.
And after that,
$5 make you holler, unless it went up because I gotta look at my bill.
I need to quit doing that goddamn simple jack shit.
Oh, you make
me happy. I was watching that earlier. That motherfucking man.
No, when he goes, when they're like, "You're gonna play Simple Jack." It's our favorite movie. He's like, really? I've done other.
he fucking boom. Oh, stupid. Oh, more. You
never go full retard.
That's exactly he did. He went full retard.
What did he say? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. He didn't go full retard. Retard don't play ping pong. He won a Golden Globe.
Act stupid, look stupid.
Was it Sean Penn? Full retard. I Am Sam. Nope. Went home empty-handed.
Went home. Went to the Oscars in the limo. Walked home. Oh yeah, that limo was. Sir, no. Don't have this no more.
Don't cancel us over those lines. Those are from an actual movie.
Yeah, those are from an actual movie, folks. It's called
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. For all you snowflakes out there.
Because that's the first thing I thought of. As soon as I said the word retard, someone's gonna be like, wait a minute. I was like, whoa,
okay, so you fucking cancel you guys.
Piece of shit.
Cancel your moms. Shit.
Cancel your mom's cooch. Shudder.com. Special promo code C+. Right.
That's right.
So, all right, let's get right into it. You go first.
Me go first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So one of the books I've had in my head for quite some time, it's even on my blog. It's called All Money Ain't Good Money. And in the story, it's kind of a bit of some hints of autobiographies, a lot of fiction. And the story is about a guy who basically he's an ex. He used to work for his uncle. He's an ex gang member, all that shit. And all he wants to do now is just do right by his son and raise his son. Story starts off that him and his wife, she's all being a bitch and she decides to leave. And he's like, leave. So it ends up just being him and his son. Now, and it goes from there because he realizes that, ex-con can't get a job. What does he do? He goes back to the old life. And that's where shit starts going downhill.
Ooh.
Going back to his old life.
Wait, you told me about the story. Yeah.
All money ain't good money. Yes. And looking back on it, I was like, I can expand this story so goddamn much with more detail, more, because it's a really simple story. It really is like so simple. You would think it's a young adult novel just in the simplicity alone. But in young adult novels, I ain't gonna lie, I do like them because they are simple. You go A, B, C, D. In adult novels, you got to fluff it up, you got to spice it up, you got to keep the reader's attention. Which, side note, folks, when you do write, you're doing it for you. If you can write something that you can go back 10 years later and still enjoy, that book's for you. You're just letting us have the privilege of reading it. That's all you're doing.
I can agree with that. With these stories written on these pieces of paper, these are stories that I actually interpret a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I actually act out, which is kind of weird. I act out these stories in my head. I pretend I'm like, oh, I am this character at this moment. And what would I do? Or I'm driving and I hear a song. I'm like, oh man, if I made a movie with this, this would be the end credit song or something like that,
I do the same thing. And on one of my old stories, I have actually a song credit list. Have the song, band. And those are the songs that got me through those stories. with All Money and Good Money, it was mostly just something I just wanted to write.
Yeah.
The character just came out of my head one day, and it just went from there. I was thinking, because during that time, Anthony was still young. I was fresh off of divorce. I was mad, and I wanted to get that frustration out on paper. And that's what I did. I just said, you know what?
Well, that's what a lot of these stories do,
Mm-hmm.
And I would, like there's a story on this paper that I told you about, and it's the one at the bottom, Twisted Slice of Love. This story is basically a relationship that I went through, and
I know when I first asked you about it, I was like, what the fuck is
Twisted Slice of Love? Yeah. And and like oh wait, no, I'm not done. Go ahead. You're not done. Go ahead. I was. You see how I zoned? Like I came in like a bird. I was like, all right, I'm landing in. My bad.
It's all good. He always does that shit.
I know it happens all the time.
With this story, it was just more like, I have to say, it really was a story about finding my truth and meaning after my divorce, what it means to be a single dad, and who I am and where I go from there. Do I find love? No. And one of his old girlfriends comes back into his life, and who the twists and turns starts happening. And I ain't gonna lie, this is the first book first story I wrote that I actually finished from beginning to end. Because folks, we all got stories that we start and we don't finish. I started this one from beginning all the way to the end. And when that happened, all the other stories I started, I went back and I finished. And sometimes that's all it takes. So this story was pretty much the one that got me rolling on learning how to finish a damn story, but more of, this is my first story of redemption. And all my stories have a theme, redemption.
Does
with a slice of violence.
Of course. With the blog, it's still out there, right?
The blog is still out
there. So we can have the link in the description below so they can check out these stories?
Sure can.
And you can go buy a book.
Yes.
See, I did what I did for you.
Yes, I will link the blogs. And I haven't touched them in a while. Forgive me. I went back and I was trying to rework them a little bit, but now that I've really, really caught the writing bug again. And it's mostly because I don't want to go back and work another 9 to 5. Exactly. I'm not going to. I'm not going to go back and work another fucking 9 to 5.
Well, you know what brought up this whole storytelling of telling our stories is something that I wanted to motivate us. I want it to be something that we could talk about these stories and interact with the people who are listening and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And the whole aspect of this is like, okay, let's talk about these stories, and maybe, just maybe, somebody's gonna be like, I want to fucking see that. It's like when I did the Ghost Pizza podcast or vlog I did, whatever. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I got comments like, yo, I want to see this. And I was like, right. And
it would be fun. That would be fucking fun.
And I was just like, that's what I wanted to do, is like, our biggest goal is to make a fucking movie. Like, and we made a show and we learned, it's pretty hard.
Shit is hard. Yeah, shit is hard. I have respect for small filmmakers, man. It doesn't matter small or big. That shit is hard.
I got asked where seasons 2.
A lot of folks, we're getting sidetracked right now because we have a lot of projects. The weather doesn't exactly help out. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's easing down, but when stuff starts to get more clear, we are going to jump back on it.
Yeah. Well, we were burning down a few weeks ago. And now we're flooding.
Now we're fucking flooding. You should have seen the streets.
Oh my goodness!
Up there on the east side of up in the rich part. Oh yeah, them motherfuckers. They had 2 feet of snow going down. 2 feet of snow.
2 feet of snow. I was like, wait.
It might as well been shit. It's just the water. The hill's like this. Okay, 2 feet of water just
and taking cars down the street. Yeah. You can look up on TikTok. Someone put it up on TikTok. I think on Instagram too. But if you can type in Flagstaff floods or whatnot, you
Prius.
Was it a white Prius? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Flagstaff flood white Prius.
Ooh, and I saw that. I was like, man, that'd be a bitch to wake. You know what I mean? Like you after the storm comes, you're like, where the fuck's my car?
And you're like, oh, is that your car down there?
And it hit that truck. You see that on the way? Like,
fuck that truck up.
The Prius fucked the truck
Yeah,
up.
the Prius fucked that truck up. I will never underestimate the Prius again. Ever. But yeah, that's it for All Money Ain't Good Money. I'm going to rework the hell out of it because I think it's a story that's worthy of being retold. When I wrote the story, yes, folks, it's on the flip phone. And you'll see something about the flip phones inside the story if you read the original before I rework it to put in about smartphones.
I watched a movie the other day and like a homeboy pulled out a BlackBerry. I was like, oh yeah. Remember when we had the little screens, you know?
Yeah.
No. Or was it what T9 text? You know.
T9.
Yeah.
The slide.
Yeah, I just remember I remember like texting people like I knew where all the letters were. Like 1, 2, 3, okay, A, 4, B, okay. Cool. That's what
I still didn't get T9, even though there's T9 on these phones. It's still all smartphones.
Really?
Yeah, all the smartphones have T9 up in there, man.
Oh man,
that's how I learned. Like years later. Oh, so this is T9. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I used when I first got a phone with the buttons and all that. I remember that's how I used to text. I used to be like in my pocket, and that's how I'd be like, "Hi, send 1, 2, 3, okay."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how we had to do it. Yes, kids. That's how we used to have to do it. We used to have the little flip phones. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I just wrote hello.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'd be like. Okay, cool.
Fun days.
Now it's like you could just talk into this fucking thing like you do, you know, like, hey, blah, 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 and send me a message. It's fucking crazy. You do that all the time.
Yes, let's go get coffee, comma, and I'm buying, period. Smiley face. Send. That's it.
All right. Well,
your turn.
But I want you to pick.
I want to hear more about Star Law.
The Star Law. Okay.
I'm hooked.
All right. So this story has been in development since I would say 3 years ago. But it stemmed from an idea of boredom. Straight fucking straight boredom. This is when I was working at Sodexo part-time and I was doing sushi like on the register. Like I was just on the register, that's all I did. And it was pretty fucking boring. And so I remember just sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm dying here. I couldn't bring a book with me because they frown upon books and whatnot. You know, if you're reading like right there, even though
how dare they education on the job?
I know. I was just like, okay, well, you know, and I had a headphone in. They're like no headphones, so I'm just like sitting there like getting bored out of my mind, you know. And so one day I was just standing there and I looked across the sushi way and I saw there's this place called Basic Needs, and it's a salad / fruit bar place. And I looked at that sign, Basic Needs, and I was all, Needs. I was like, that's a badass last name. Then from there, I was like, Hal Needs. Hal Needs. I was like, that Captain Hal Needs. You know, I was just like, then after that, I was just like, yeah, he's an outlaw in space. And then I was like, oh, then it started going from there. And I was like writing it down, pieces of paper. I even drew the ship. And people were like, what the fuck? I was like, there's a story I got. He's Captain Hal Needs. He's the infinite Star Law. They're like, the fuck's a Star Law? I was like, it's outlaw, but they're in space. So, you know. And so.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
And so,
I love it.
And so that's how this story came about. It was pure fucking boredom. And then it just went from there. And now I'm actually making it into a book. Like I'm writing it like a book. And his ship is called the Highball. And in the story itself, the way I had it written several ways. And the original way was, you know, he takes on a job with his crew, and it's a job that's really impossible. So it was going to be kind of a heist type movie.
Oh,
like they take a job and they have to steal from this mining company, and this mining company is the biggest mining company in the entire universe. Like this dude, it was on something blood. I called the dude something blood, but BLUD. And he owned all these mines across the galaxy, but there was one mine that he owned that was really heavily guarded. But somebody was like, hey, I know an idiot that will take this job. So they hire Captain Hal Needs and his crew. And so they take the job and they go and they complete the job. And then they find out, like this is the first rough draft of it. They find out that what they stole was something that could destroy the universe. So, in top of all that, right when they try to get to the buyer that was buying this item, the buyer is killed, and it was kind of an ambush. Then they go on the run, and Blood sends out like like, oh my god, crazy bounty. So every fucking bounty hunter's after this one ship, one crew, one captain, dead or alive. So they basically are on the run. And from there, I was developing the story of like, okay, well, like they're the infinite star laws. So I wanted to make like the star laws like cliques, like different cliques in the galaxy. But there's different variations. There's no rule to being a star law. It's just being an outlaw. You know, there's no rules. So I wanted like different variations and cliques, kind of like the Ravagers. You know, even though they have the stupid patch or whatnot. Yeah, but there's like the quote for being a star law is like, be you. You know, you take care of your gang, take care of your family. You know, yeah. And from there, that's as far as I got with the story, and in the sense of like they had to run, and I never executed that version of what happened, and so. From there, I was like, okay, well, if they get caught, no, they don't get caught. They're being chased after this and that. And then like time travel came about, and that's how another story grew from that. And, and so this version though, of the Star Law that I'm writing is you're being introduced to Hal. You're like the first chapter, he's buying the highball, the ship. The second chapter is about how he puts the crew together. The third chapter is, what did I call the third chapter? No jobs, no worries? ? So, and then the fourth chapter is called the AI Wars. Did you hear that too? I've been hearing it all like ghost. The AI Wars is something that stems from another story that I wrote. And you remember I was telling you about this. The AI Wars is supposed to be something that takes place way before the Star Law universe. So that happened by accident.
Nothing is ever by accident.
Well, that's what I thought. And I was like writing. I remember like writing with Hal Needs, and I was like, yeah, he's the great captain. And well, what's he a captain of? I was like, oh, he served in the AI Wars. And I was like, oh, maybe I could make the AI Wars like something. And the AI Wars was a war that happened with AIs versus humans. And what happened was before, like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away on Earth, they sent up a satellite into space with AI technology and a couple of humans. And the AIs turned on the crew and stole the satellite. And they went and built an AI Earth. Their own version of an AI Earth. And they started like testing the bodies that they took. And
this is going to be good.
Yeah. And they started testing the bodies and started like creating flesh for themselves and stuff like that. But they were ruled by because basically the leaders were dictators. And there's always rebellions that happen in these kind of situations. And so these rebels, if you will, gather up, go to Earth. And then after a while, dictators over here on the AI universe was like, we're missing a few hundred of, there's a few people gone here. What's going on here? That good old census number. And so years pass and they find out, and then we start with this kid. And this kid is half AI and half human because the AI's fucked. And they started like creating life with humans. And I had to try to figure out the science behind that. You know what I mean? But I was thinking like nanotechnology can be a thing, like how, it connects with the human body and stuff like that. But this kid is half AI and half human, but he doesn't know it. then as the story progresses, he finds out, what did I say? 75% of Earth's population is AIs.
And they don't know it, right?
And they don't know it. Yeah. And then the dictators on this planet, like, oh fuck, oh hell no, we got away from Earth to come and live this great life we're giving you. So they go to war, and then this is when this kid's life unravels.
Yeah.
You know, and everything, and he has to lead the fight against the AIs.
I want you to write this one.
Yeah, and this kid, I had his name. I gotta find that notebook. This kid becomes like a 20-star general during the AI wars, and the AI wars is supposed to span a long time. So the character in Starlaw, Captain Hal Needs, caught the very tail end of the AI wars and knew the kid and served with him at some certain point, but he was too young to know what came before. So that's where that next chapter is going to go, is going to like give you a taste of the AI wars, like a taste, because I want the AI wars to be its own separate entity. And then that's when I told you how I was like, oh man, then I can connect Wizards and Outlaws, because Wizards and Outlaws deals with time travel. You know, I have this whole crazy like Time Lord thing about it, and you know how like the Starlaw is definitely a story I feel like can be something really, really cool.
I do too.
And
I like the premise of Starlaw.
And I think the AI wars could be something even cooler to see like come alive, you know. And I want those two stories, but I was like, let me write Starlaw first.
Write Starlaw. You know,
write the Starlaw first and let that kind of progress. And when I write, I'm excited. I have not written one word for the AI Wars chapter yet, but I'm so fucking stoked because I'm going through all my notebooks with all the AI Wars stuff I had. And I'm like, oh, I can pull this. Oh, I can pull this. Oh, I can pull this, you know.
It's always good to write. I mean, that's good. I mean, you can write multiple stories at once, but it's right on like the AI Wars, write just a one page or even half a page of what it's about, where you want to take it, and then put it to the side, finish Starlaw, and then whatever. And you'll find when you write what you write in the Starlaw, you're going to go back to AI Wars like, how does this tie in? And I do that with all my stories. How does this tie into the greater picture of everything? And it's fun making your own goddamn universe.
Oh,
it really is.
It is.
It's hilarious because then you start thinking, I'm really doing this.
Yeah, and what's cool though is like you're gonna see the growth of Hal himself. And I wrote a script a couple months back called Deja Vu, and it's a Starlaw story, and it's based way in the future where it is Hal. And he's in a prison cell. He doesn't know it. It's just this constant loop of deja vu. He's living. And then one of his crew members, which is his wife, gets him out of there. And she gets him out of there because she knows Captain Hal Needs can save everybody.
Yeah.
And he finds out, he goes, oh, I'm in a deja vu cell, you know. And and I wrote that because I wrote it to a budget, remember? I said, like, well, I really want to shoot this movie. And I'm writing to a really low budget, low, like one room, like shooting in here, one room type of budget, you know, short film. And that's how that story. And then I've noticed like, I still want to do the Deja Vu story because I think that Starlaw universe would be cool to introduce to everybody.
Yes, it would be.
And the story itself for this one is an origin. And what's cool is like when he puts the crew together, he gets this kid named Roland, who's a mechanic. And he, because he's this kid, Roland quits his job because the customer's being an asshole and whatnot. And then he goes over and Hal's at this eatery on this planet called Hanglo. I'll find it.
Honglo.
But yeah, then he gets the mechanic. Then he gets this girl named Jenny Starr, and she owns her own junkyard, and it's called Jenny's Junk. But she kind of realized, like, he's like, hey, he goes, I see you have a great taste and like stuff, like, you know, product, you know how to move product, you know how to sell product. I just want to get us honest jobs to be trading, hauling stuff for people, this and that, this and that. And after he gets the mechanic and after he gets Jenny, they get on, and like both interactions is awesome, because when he gets Roland and he gets on the ship and he's like, this is a piece of junk. He's like, hey, come on, man. He's like, a little TLC. And he goes, it's going to need a lot of TLC, but you're paying for it. Then Roland goes and finds his bunk. And then when he gets Jenny and brings Jenny on the ship, and she's like, oh my God, it's a piece of junk. And he's just like, I love it. And she goes off and finds her bunker. And then the guy that's controlling the bay, he comes up and he's like, all right, man. He goes, you went through your 3 cycles. You got to pay for another cycle right now. He goes, oh yeah. And Hal goes, I'll go get the money. How about you just fuel us up and I'll be back. And then they take off and they got shot at, of course, because he couldn't pay him. Then fast forward a few months later, they're not getting jobs, because Hal is looking for safe jobs. Hal's looking for good, not illegal jobs to do. And then Jenny and Roland are sitting there and going, we could become Starlaws. And he's like, no. Hal's like, no, we're not reducing ourselves to be Starlaws. And then they're kind of like, this is, the only reason we joined is because we heard the legends of Captain Hal Needs in the AI Wars. We've heard about the rough, rugged badass of Captain Hal Needs from the AI Wars. That's the only reason. They don't tell him that. Mm-hmm. But they said because as soon as he introduced himself, I'm Hal Needs, they're like, oh, sign me up. But the Hal Needs they got is not the one they thought. He's playing it safe. He doesn't know what to do. He's just like, he wants to make sure that he provides for the crew. And that's it. Because he was trying to leave that past behind. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the chapter where the crew and everything, he starts singing this because he was the reason why he calls the ship the Highball is because it's that the mighty Highball platoon was his platoon in the AI Wars. Right. And they were basically like missionary type style dudes that they're like, okay, we got a really impossible mission here. Highballs, send them in. So that's why I call the ship the Highball. Okay. Yeah. And so
I like it.
That's why when I get to the AI Wars chapter, I want to really highlight how badass Hal was and why he's the way he is right now. Why he doesn't want to take that extra step to be a Starlaw, But he'll get there.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Stories, folks. Stories, man. I love it.
Selling the movie rights right now. Highest bidder. All right.
My turn. This is a story I have had flip-flopping in my head. Now, this one's been flip-flopping in my head for the last couple of years. And it's called 13. The original premise was a guy wakes up in the alley, armed. He's half naked. He has his jeans on. He has his boots on. No shirt. And he's armed with a knife and just a constant voice in his head saying, don't you have somebody to kill? And he has a big Roman numeral 13 on his arm. And all he knows is he has to go kill 13 specific people who he sees their pitch, he sees their faces in this city, and he has to go kill them. So, and that's where it goes from there. And I came up with like different creative ways for him to kill these son of bitches with the knives. But I can never, ever come up with a why. Why is he doing it? Why does he have to do this? Why? I mean, it was cool. And the ladies, it was a lady's voice. Keep going. Keep going. And when he would try to resist, his whole body would like just go into shock. Like it was just like trying to shut down. But then when he would get up and go towards the house and it would stop. And I was like, why is it doing that? And then now in light of everything that's been going on of Black Lives Matter, all these kids just getting killed, people getting killed. I found something, and I know people are gonna be like, right now, when I tell you guys, some of y'all gonna be like, that's fucked up. I don't care. This is my story. This is my story. So 13 revolves around one man who decides to, and there, this is it has elements of magic up in there, supernatural good stuff. So, and that's what I love. I love that stuff.
Okay,
So,
I know the controversial part you're trying to talk about. Yeah.
So basically, one of the ladies is a bruja who comes to this man who says, "Okay, I know you want vengeance for all these people in this small town that we just can't. Just seem to the cops just keep killing us. We obey, they kill us. If no matter what we say or do, they end up killing us. The last straw was when they killed his little girl, and he wants revenge. So he goes to this voodoo witch woman, bruja, and tells her, "What can you do to help me? There's people want revenge. There's nothing that's happening. A lesson has to be taught." So she pretty much tells him, "I can throw there's spirits of vengeance out there who want the same revenge as you. If I put one of these into you, you will work together to get all these officers who did you guys wrong. They know they did it, and go from there." Hold on, folks. Never mind.
I thought the same thing, but I was.
I thought I didn't have my computer plugged in. So
I was looking at it for the long time. I was like, "Is it plugged in?" I don't think. Oh wait, then I saw the cord. I was like,
"Oh." So, folks, the lady tells him, "This is what's going to happen. But there's a price. You have to die in order for this spirit to inhabit you as well, side by side." He's like, "I don't care. Do whatever you have to do." And she's like, "Are you sure? Because everything comes at a price. Everything comes at a price." He said, "I don't care. People need revenge. This has to stop." So she performs the ceremony. His memory gets wiped out halfway. Some of it gets buried by this new entity in him. So he finds himself in the alley, no memory of who he is. And the spirit is telling him, "This is who we have to get. This person. And he tracks them supernaturally by their energy and the faces of the victims that they had. So with each cop that he gets, it changes number. It starts off with the Roman numeral 13. Each one he gets, it changes. And it changes. When he gets down to number 1, I'm not going to give that story away yet, but all the story is basically, it's about revenge. Yes, it's not taking advantage of a current situation. It's basically helping me understand, why does this shit happen? Why does it happen? And are there ways that things could be done to prevent it? Yes, there is. But do people want to listen sometimes about that? No, they don't want to listen to all because you hear the same shit. Well, if you would just comply, if you would just this, if you would just that. It's basically white folks telling us as people of color how to live and how to be safe. No matter what we do, we're still not fucking safe. So this story is my exploration of that. And I guess in the way of telling some of these cops out here, police your own, because someone's going to do it. Eventually someone's going to fucking do it.
That's why I don't understand when, like, I love this story.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't understand when cops are rocking the Punisher logo. You know what I mean? I was just like, the Punisher is like anti-fucking cop. Like,
he is anti-fucking cop. And I've seen some of those, and I've seen a few officers that said, "It's cool, pretty cool." I'm like, no, it's not. You have no fucking clue or concept what the hell that's about. Well, Frank Castle was a cop. Yeah. He went after his own people. I said, "That's what y'all need to do." And he just sat there, just looked at me.
Like when I see the flag with the blue like on it and the Punisher logo or the American flag and all, I'm like,
Marvel's not happy.
Oh yeah, dude. Marvel, they're gonna sue them. They're like, "Hey, you better take that shit down," or something like that.
Marvel already issued a statement saying, if you as your police department keep using our logo to use it to do as this, we're gonna sue you. That is not what the Punisher is about. And they told him too, that's not what it's about. And that's what 13 is not about. 13 is gonna be very not very anti-police. I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-jackass. I am. I'm anti-jackass. Mm-hmm. So this story's been brewing for quite some time. I just couldn't find the catalyst. I was like, okay, is it a secret spy? No.
I remember when you called me about this.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what do you think about this idea? I'm like, it's a very spicy idea for this time, like what's going on right now. You
yes,
know what
it
I mean?
is.
So as you can tell, we have very different writing styles and very different imaginations. That's why I love your first story. You're like, it's about this dad, you know, with his kid, and then it comes to me, and I'm like, yeah, fucking stars, you know.
Oh, I got some space stories too.
I know you do.
I got a lot of them. I'm just like,
this was like, fuck the police, you know, kill them all.
This NWA 2.0.
I love it though. Like I want to see it. I want to see it on. Like I need to see it. You know,
you will see it. I even have the damn logo already done.
You do. I see
that. The book cover. Oh, that one was Fairy Tale Kill Crew.
No, you sent me the logo for this story.
No,
you did. Wasn't that the?
No, that was the one I sent you. The Fairy Tale Kill Crew. Fairy Tale Kill Crew is my version of instead of Red Riding Hood. Her name is Scarlet. She's a Latina. Peter from Peter and the Wolf. He's Nigerian. They kill werewolves. And then there's Hansel and Gretel, but they're not Hansel and Gretel, the Germans. They're twins, and they learned the art of voodoo from their auntie down in Louisiana. Auntie, and they fuck with they fuck with chaos magic. And the catalyst behind them coming together is Remus and Romulus, the brothers from Roman times who had dealings with werewolves during that time. They're alive. That's who they're trying to protect the world from right now. And I was like, okay, I can fuck with this.
I remember the Kill Crew one. Like, I'm trying to remember. There was a logo I think you even put up, or maybe it was. I'm trying to see. Like, I might be totally wrong on this. I keep talking.
Yeah, while he finds that, folks. Yeah, space stuff. I got a couple space stories. I think I have a story for every genre. I even tried a romance. And that one was pretty damn interesting because it was boy meets girl. How did I say it? Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. All hell's gonna break loose because they're from the same neighborhood. They're from similar backgrounds, but where they diverge at is she's all about hood feminism, and he's about just trying to make it in this world. And she's trying to school him about why a woman chooses a man who's going to be there for her through thick and thin, or ride or die. And he's like, look, I'm just trying to do my damn thing. That's it. But he learns gentleness because the house that he grew up in was not gentle. It was fucked up. The only one, and he had to protect his mom from his dad. Because I'm sorry, that sounds very stereotypical, but at the same time, it's truth. That's what happens. And it happens a lot. The hood feminism thing comes from Bell Hooks, from her book, Hood Feminism, who absolutely gives the finger to feminism. Because like she said, and I agree too, feminism is for middle-class white women who don't want to be basically what people of color are. People, the women, the fucked up jobs who have to take care of their snotty nose ass brats, the ones who have to sit there and work the 9 to 5s and still have to go home and take care of them. They didn't want that. That was that logo. That was the old school logo right there. Show them that one. Yeah, that was the original logo.
I knew it was here somewhere.
That was the original Fairy Tale Kill Crew logo. Yeah, I still got that one too.
Yeah, while we're here, you want to know what we started with?
Show them.
Let's see. Oh, can you get that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was one of the first concepts of the C Plus Studios logo. Here's the.
Oh, not that one.
Oh, not that one. Where was it at?
You want to show them the porn?
Oh no. Oh, there we go. Original OG.
Social Vent.
Yeah, let's see. There we go. There we go. The Social Vent podcast. That was original logo. We actually have, oh, wow, look at this. C Plus Studios presents the Social Vent podcast. Like our page at facebook.com/C Plus Studios. Every Friday at soundcloud.com, CPS928. Oh, original Big Daddy Goes Deep.
Show them that one. Damn.
Yeah, look at that. If you can find this on our Facebook, we have our Facebook page, and these are all on our timeline. If you want to go back, Wrestling Junkies podcast, my book that never. Well, this is when we're promising shit up the ass. Remember that?
Yes.
Let's see. They got that, and then it just.
So what does all this have to do with stories, folks? A lot. We're telling stories. This is part of our continuation story. This is our origin story. Just like in comic book, this is our origin story.
That's why I liked on that Big Daddy
stories.
Forever last week when you said, what would be your origin story? You want to see an origin story, kids? You want to see an origin story? You remember that?
Shit.
So before
wow.
that Juggalo vlog review, whatever you want to call it, this is where it stemmed from. This is where this motherfucker stemmed from. Bam. That's
the original one.
That Juggalo life. It wasn't that Juggalo vlog. This is where it stemmed from. And here was another podcast we were going to do called 17. And this was when I was like, then there was an album called Death Side that I was going to do. Where was that one?
What was 17 about? Yeah.
This is when Big Daddy started posting on the actual Facebook page.
And that's Yoda. That's not Grogu.
That's actual old Yoda. Oh.
That's the original book cover. Oh shit, that is the original book cover.
Yeah,
that one is too.
Yeah, I went back to like
wow.
Well, right there, that's the book you can go get. Wow, it's kind of crazy going down memory lane. I'm trying to find it here. Sorry, guys. Let's see.
So yes, our books are yes. So are we going to be publishing these books? Yes, we are. I Amazon Kindle just did something called Vela. So Kindle Vela basically is like short stories. Excuse me, it's short stories basically that are 1,000 to 5,000, pages long, but you break it down into chapters. How they want to do it though, I'm not sure I'm down with that. I'm more or less thinking of using their software for us to publish our own books so we can sell separately, so so the profit stays home. Nothing against the Vela or anything like that, but you get the first 2 chapters for free, and then you start making a profit off of the other ones. Yes, I do want to make a profit off of my stories. Who doesn't? I'm trying to prevent from going back to a 9-to-5. I'm trying to get him out the 9-to-5 rut because it's bullshit.
Dr. Shocktopus rocking that C+ gear.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm putting this away. Like all these memories of us. And
so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show them how to make books, how to publish them, and we're gonna order our own. So that way, if folks want them, we can sign them, and then we can mail it to you.
That's why the Star Law is going to happen. The Star Law, I have to tell the story. Then I can go into these other stories and tell them. And this one I'm going to jump right into because it involves you. Jack Bullet.
Yeah, because you were going to tell me about, but I was like, no, save it for the podcast. So tell me about Jack Bullet.
Bullet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bullet.
Bullet.
Look at these lips. Bullet.
Bullet. And it's a constant joke in the story too. Jack Bullet.
Oh, like Luke Cage.
Yeah. You know where I'm going.
Yeah. Stokes. This
was real quick, but it's a movie I want to make, and it's an action movie, and the main character is Jack Bullet, and Bullet. And he ain't French, so I don't know why the bullet was such an important thing, but it was funny to me. And most like action movies I like, they always have a John a Jake. Like there's always some J name that's a Jack Reacher.
Reacher, John, some or other.
Yeah, and so I was like, I want to make my own interpretation of this, But the main character of Jack Bullet, he looks like me, but he's the world's greatest mission assassin cop. It is not a comedy either. It's supposed to be real fucking serious, and he owns a comic book shop. And then his first mission out the gate, he's running his comic book shop. He left the world of being a top class, assassin, whatever, working for the government to go run this little comic book shop. And then the story starts off like his old sergeant comes in. He's like, "We need you to come back, Jack." Good old fashioned, I ain't coming back to the field, And it's just like, I got a life now, running a comic book shop with my wife. And he's like, "Your brother's back, Jack." And he's like, "That's impossible. I shot him in the head. You were there. I shot my brother in the head." And that's where the story goes. And it's a very simple story. He did shoot his brother in the head. That was his last mission. His brother was a big time espionage, not espionage, but big time criminal.
Yeah.
But he had to end it by putting a bullet in his head. And so it was a very simple story about how he goes back and he gets his brother and he finally kills his brother. And that's the premise of the first Jack Bullet. Then I had a dream where we were running C+ Studios out of this huge, fancy building. And Jack Bullet was something that we were at our meeting with everybody. And for some reason, you loved Jack Bullet, the movie, so fucking much. You loved this character. You were frothing at the mouth because you're like, the movie's okay, but I like the character. And then you asked me, you're like, "Hey, can I write Jack Bullet 2?" And I was just like, I didn't intend for a Jack Bullet 2 to happen, but sure. And I give you my outline for Jack Bullet 2. And in the dream, you check your emails, then I checked the email, and you wrote a better version of Jack Bullet. And so much so I was geeking out, and I sent it out to all the C+ Studio staff. And we're like, this is the movie. We had staff.
Oh shit. We had staff.
And so this is all in this dream. And we make Jack Bullet Reloaded. And you go on to make 2 more sequels to that trilogy. So you didn't stray away from the original story for Jack Bullet. You dug deeper in your trilogy, because I even had the names. Your trilogy starts with Jack Bullet Reloaded. Jack Bullet Reloaded.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm finding the pen. See, I'm writing this. Okay, I'm writing this shit down. Okay, hold on. Okay, so
Jack Bullet Reloaded.
JB. Remember, nothing is by coincidence.
The second one is Jack Bullet. I think the third one will help me. Go to the third one. Jack Bullet Final Clip. And I think the second was Last Bullet or something like that, or Final Bullet.
So Reloaded. So the last movie is Final Clip, folks.
It was on the reference of the bullet thing, and then it was reference to the bullet. The name Bullet, and then you took out the stupid comedy aspect of I'm taking out the stupid bullet because the bullet doesn't make sense. It's Jack Bullet. And so in your story, though, you going deeper into the family, and the family is this big crime lord family. That's where Jack Bullet came from. And you find out Jack Bullet isn't his real name. He changed his name because when he went to become a cop, then work his ranks up, he didn't want his family name attached to him because his family's a big crime lord.
Bunch of motherfuckers. So he left the family
basically being shunned from them too, being like, you don't ever come here, but you never bust us, And so after him killing his brother again, it sparks their interest to get back into his business of like, you killed family the first time, but we knew you didn't kill him because he reached out to us. But the fact that you actually killed your brother, like they treat that shit like a fucking like Italian stuff, Italian mafia stuff. And so they basically go to war with Jack, his own family, and it takes place in 3 movies.
I like it.
Yeah. So Jack Bullet stemmed from like, I made an all right movie, but Big Daddy loved the character so much, he made a better movie, and he directed it too, because I directed and wrote the first movie, then you directed and wrote the next 3.
See, I'm already seeing possibilities with this.
Yeah.
Just the story that you told me alone. I'm like, God damn, that's,
But my biggest goal was I because like every action hero is always the same big, beefy looking, kind of like this one, that I wanted to be like, the first movie was like a kind of like, not a parody, but a parody, like, oh, this regular guy who's fat and owns a comic book shop is the deadliest motherfucker on the block,
That would be. That's almost like my ultimate story, what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. I just got to find his name real quick. Excuse me, real quick.
And in the story too, like, you start off Reloaded with blowing up the comic book shop and killing Jack Bullett's wife. Yeah, like I remember in the dream too. I was like, you killed his wife and you blew up the comic book shop. You're like, go home, go all the way or go home, baby, basically. And I was like, fuck, the whole premise was that comic book shop. And this guy's like, wife dead, comic book shop gone, we're going to war.
So here's a story I've had brewing, and I'm gonna do it. It's based off of World War II American Army medic Desmond T. Doss, who served during the Battle of Okinawa, refused to kill people, and become the first man in American history to see the Medal of Honor without firing a shot. So the story I have brewing, and I've kind of fan fiction this a little bit, in the DC universe. He's a superhero, and he's fucking powerful. He will bust your ass. But he's like, you know what? I don't want to do that. Let's talk. So he sees all these fools getting ready to fight. All, the good guys fight the bad guys. And he steps in, wait. Why? What are you doing? Okay. And I started messing around with the Marvel Universe a little bit. Dr. Doom, you want to kill Reed again. Why? Okay, Reed, you want to put his ass in jail only for him to break out again. Why? What's going on between you two? And he never, ever uses his powers. Once. He sits there, he talks. And to me, it's like getting into the psyches of these villains and these heroes of actually why
they do what they do.
They do what they do. And why does the status quo keep going? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of the status quo bullshit. It pisses me off.
Well, it's like, it's kind of weird now. Like, there's no longer the line of good guys and bad guys.
No,
like,
there isn't.
Now the line's so blurred. Like, Harley Quinn's a hero now. No fault on her. It was part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to redeem herself and whatnot. It's part of the story. But then now you're like, okay, well, we're making movies of these villains now. When that wasn't the case a long time ago in Hollywood. Right. Hollywood's like, no, we good guys versus bad guys. Then all of a sudden, fast forward now, like, here's Joker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I just got done with that released Snyder Cut book, talking about how Zack changed the game on superhero movies and the way they're done. And I feel like he did. Like, he brought that dark tone to these characters. And if you fast forward now, everyone's doing their own take on these characters.
Exactly.
They're giving these characters new life. And I think it started with Man of Steel. And how in Man of Steel, like, you know, even though people still bitch about it, I love this.
My
scene.
Superman doesn't kill.
Yeah.
But guess what? World War II original one, he did kill. So
when that scene happens and that family's in that corner, everyone's like, he could have flown up. I was like, it wasn't about flying up. It was about the choice. What's more important? Their lives or this douchebag who's fucking, you know, and in that moment, Clark had to choose killing off the final, like, Kryptonian
mm-hmm.
over saving this random family's life. You know, he had to make that hard choice. And for me, like, I was like, I think that's why I like Man of Steel so much. I was like, fucking finally, you know, he's not the Boy Scout.
See,
like, he, you know.
I felt the same way. He was not the Boy Scout no more. It was a different take. People didn't like it. And I remember we talked about this for days.
Oh, we're still talking about it. Like,
and
I'm about to rewatch it tonight.
and it's good. To me, honestly, it's good that Snyder did what he did because something did have to change, folks. In these stories that we want to write, okay, someone has to get the change started. It might as well start with us. Why not? And honestly, my heroes, my villains, you know, that line is blurred. But then again, I take that action because of WWE. They're called tweens, okay? Tweeners. Stone Cold was the ultimate good guy, bad guy, okay? And you see this in a lot of comic book right nowadays. Now, comic books and the stories, you don't know the guy who's willing to do guy or a gal who's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure justice is served. Okay, they're gonna do it. I love those kind of characters. I love characters who are morally fucked up just as much as I am. Because I can't do the whole good guy, bad guy thing like that anymore. I grew up in the 90s. Well, I grew up in the comic book age where, you know, the grim and gritty, and people hated it. You know, Mark Waid, he's the ultimate comic book writer for the good guys. He hated the grim and gritty.
Oh yeah, like Frank Miller changing the game with, you know, with all his stuff and you know, bringing that whole new genre. And like, come on, man, like we saw probably one of the best versions of Batman that we never thought we would see on the screen. Like especially that scene when he goes and saves Martha, with Clark's mom, and he just comes in, bam, 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 got shot in the back of the head, bam, bam. You're like, this is Batman, you know.
That was Batman, and thank you, Ben Affleck, for helping that along because, you know, he worked his ass off for
that montage scene when he's working out. You're like, damn, this is the Batman I do not want. Like, I'll go talk to Chris. What's his name? Christian Bale's Batman. I'll talk to the Val Kilmer Batman. I ain't talking to the Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh, Val Kilmer's Batman. He just gets a shotgun to the face.
He's got those lips. He's making a documentary.
Who?
Val Kilmer? I didn't know he had throat cancer.
Shit.
Yeah, dude, and he talks like this.
All that drugs and alcohol, man.
Dude, like I don't think it was that, but but it's a documentary called Val, and I guess like since he was this is still part about storytelling. I guess since he was since he's been in Hollywood and since he was a kid, he always filmed everything. He always had a camera in his hand, and in this documentary, he has footage from when he was on every set he's been on, and you hear directors like, "Hey, God, Val, turn off that damn camera." Like, you know, but yeah, he has decades of footage. Of when he was on set, you know, all these movies like Tombstone and shit like that. Like,
oh, I would love to see Tombstone.
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff. And the guy that's narrating it sounds like Val Kilmer, but it's not Val Kilmer. And then you get to Val at the very end, and he's just talking like this. This is my story, and I'm just like, damn, this looks like awesome, but it also looks like super depressing. You know what I mean? Because remember, Val Kilmer was like the pretty boy. Like he was like what?
He was the it actor.
Yeah, he got what's it called? What was that movie?
Heat.
The Saint. Remember that movie?
I do remember that movie.
Yeah, but the Saint is why he didn't do Batman and Robin, because the studio's like, we need to get the next Batman movie out there, and Schumacher's like, Val's still working on the Saint. They're like, recast him then. Hey, George, come on.
He stepped in quick for that DC money, huh?
Oh, he stepped. He needs still apologizing to this day for that movie. Oh, what a story!
What a story!
Well, all right. Well, there you go. I feel like this, because you call this "Stories Are Us."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put a little part 1 on at the end, because I feel like we can do this again.
We can always revisit this. This was good. This was different, and tell us your story, folks. Comments below. Seriously, tell us your story. What would you have brewing in the back of your head that you haven't put out yet? You want to, but here's some motivation for you. You're here on a limited time. Why are you waiting?
So, and I think in part 2, once we do this again, I will talk about the turquoise wolf.
The turquoise wolf. Yes.
That will be saved for another time, folks. But thank you for joining us. This was fun. I really liked that we talked about our stuff, even though we did kind of, we always do that.
It's all good.
But we had fun. Tell us what you think of the stories themselves, like which one you're like, oh, I want to see that, or, and the Star Law I'm writing. I'm not saying coming soon, because I want to.
It's done when it's done.
It's done when it's done, because we're not doing that no more.
Yeah, it's done when it's done. Especially with a story like this, you got to have it. Just.
I am KMB the Sexy Ninja.
This is Big Daddy here for C Plus Studios, the social fan. God damn, you always got to go fucking there.
And when in doubt, fuck your couch.
God damn it. You can't even say it right, because your ass.